Hey everyone, in the last hour I received my order from the LTTStore.com, which I'm really excited about, even though they didn't use any bubble wrap, so everything's just squished together in a random envelope, which isn't really ideal for an international order. But in general, I'm really excited about it because Linus Tech Tips is my favourite channel, other than Tech Overwrite, I suppose, so I wanted to do my bit to actually support Linus Media Group by placing this order. I ordered the LTT Screwdriver, the Precision Screwdriver, and also the Pen Screwdriver thing, because I do a lot of DIY, and clearly I like screwdrivers, to be honest. And I'm based in Europe, in the United Kingdom, and I've seen many people on Reddit actually say that the order experience isn't always the best from LTT Store to Europe. So in this video I wanted to actually talk about what my experience was. But actually I placed my order during the Shipstorm sale. There was no shipping fees as part of that, and that's brilliant because one of the big things that's always put me off is the actual really high shipping fees. So not having to pay that was really, really good. Also, when I placed my order, at the time the LTT store hadn't split into two. So I did actually benefit from my parcel not being shipped through America. You know, it went from Canada to the UK, so actually I did benefit from the split, but also paid in USD, which was brilliant because since the start of the year, something, I won't go into what, but something or someone has actually hammered the American exchange rate loads, and so my order was like 10% cheaper than it would have been if I placed it like at the end of last year, so that's brilliant. But let's actually get on with talking about my order experience. But I'm gonna not completely rant because I really like Linus Media Group, but I just wanted to be honest about my opinion so that other people based in the UK and Europe can know what they're getting into when they place an order. But I'm gonna get all the negative stuff out of the way first, then I'm actually gonna talk about these products because I am really excited about it. So I placed my order on April 14th. The actual website worked fine, but my card details kept getting rejected. Basically, the money was taken out of my bank. Then it got immediately sent back into my bank account, and there was a note on the website saying that they couldn't validate the card details or something like that. I don't know why that was, because this particular card is one I've used with lots of other retailers, so that was a bit annoying. But in the end, what I actually had to do was put the card details into my phone on Google Pay, and then pay on my phone via Google Pay, which I didn't really want to submit that particular card to Google Pay, but there we are. That's how I had to do things if I wanted to place an order. As part of the order process, the LTT store actually works out all the taxes that are due, because in the United Kingdom, you'll need to pay VAT on it. You know, even if your order is really small, you're going to have to pay that 20% VAT. And then if your order is above £135, you'll also have to pay extra excise duty. But that's that. I placed my order via Google Pay because they kept rejecting my card. So that order was in April the 14th, and then on April the 18th, I believe, I actually received a ship-in confirmation email, which is actually pretty good because in the middle of, tariffs and instability and actual the Shipstorm sale as well, I thought that actually 4 days from placing an order to actually having it shipped is really, really good. However, I don't think they actually shipped the item then, because the actual email has a Wizmo tracking link, which doesn't work whatsoever. It's incredibly annoying. I'll talk about that in a minute. But actually, when I went onto the Wizmo website and I went to the tracking there, what I actually could see is that my order just sat there doing nothing for 10 days. So even though the LTT store was saying, yes, we've shipped your order, and I had that email, I don't think they actually had shipped the order at all. It didn't seem to move until the 10th day, when it then did move, throughout Vancouver, and then it went from Canada to the United Kingdom, where I live, and then it ultimately got delivered to me on the 24th day, which actually isn't terrible, from placing my order to actually receiving it. 24 days is in line with what the website says. It is slower than something like AliExpress, like I've recently placed a few orders with them, and usually that takes 1 to 2 weeks. So yeah, the LTT store was slower, but it wasn't too slow really. And actually on the 9th day of, them saying they've shipped it, but actually the parcel just being sat there, I did try emailing the LTT store. I firstly clicked on the contact us link, and that's a broken link, which was a little bit annoying, but what you've actually got to do is go to the website and fill in a form there, and then wait for them to reply, and it took them 9 days to reply to me, which was a little bit of a long wait. And I'm not saying any of this to be critical or rage baity or anything else. I truly love Linus Tech Tips, but I just wanted to talk about my experience, because them saying they've shipped the order and then it taking 9 days for it to not move whatsoever, and then for them to take a further 9 days to reply to an email does feel a little bit excessive in my opinion. But the point is, I did ultimately receive my order. But as I mentioned in the intro, it's a bit annoying that they've just shoved everything inside an envelope. I don't know if you can see there, I'll do a close-up as well, but they haven't bubble wrapped anything. It's just all loose inside a jiffy bag essentially, and that's not really ideal, to be honest, because you'd think that for international shipping they do more than just randomly do this and not bubble wrap. I think my Scribedriver is there somewhere. Yeah, it's at the bottom. Where is it? So I got my, there we are. I got my Scribedriver there at the bottom. there, that's actually in a box and it hasn't come out, but my actual precision screwdriver has just randomly come out of the box. And yeah, I think everything should work. I'll test out in a minute, but again, you'd probably think they would bubble wrap it. But anyway, that's all the negative stuff out the way. It took 24 days to actually get my items from LTTStore.com, which I think is pretty good. And now I'm actually going to show off the products I bought because I am excited to receive them. So this is the actual envelope that I received from the LTTStore.com, and actually I mentioned in the introduction that there's no bubble wrap or anything. The actual envelope itself does have a little bit of bubble wrapping, but nothing inside this package actually does. That was my point, because you end up with things like this with just an empty box, and in my opinion that's not really ideal, especially for an international order. I think it's actually in the envelope somewhere. Yes, there we are. So it's there with the nice fidget spinner, which is absolutely awesome. I really like that, but that's that. So yeah, the LTT Store Precision Multi-Bit Screwdriver, and I've got the actual set as well, 61 pieces, so I'll show that off in a second. But the reason I wanted to buy that is actually at the moment, I've got loads of different sort of smaller screwdrivers. I've also got a ratchet one, which I'll talk about in a minute, but in general, I've got loads of little, screwdrivers floating around, and it's a bit annoying. So actually having a specific precision screwdriver with the bit set, oh, there it is going again, with all the different bits, that's going to be a lot nicer for me, so I'll open that in a minute. The other bits of my order, of course, were the actual Scribedriver, the nice pen, which is really nice. I mean, I love the sleekness of that. It feels really nice in the hand as well, so I'm really happy with that. And that's a really nice bolt action as well. Being able to turn the pen on and off like that does feel really nice, to be honest. I do actually have another pen that was given to me by a colleague quite some time ago when I left my first ever job. And I really like this pen actually, but what I tend to find is writing on it is a little bit annoying sometimes. And actually I've heard this is a lot better. And first impressions are the weighting on this is a lot better. Like in my hand, there's a nice weight at the end. So actually that rests on my hand naturally there. And then this is quite good for grip as well. So actually compared to this other pen, this feels quite light here, and I feel like I'm sort of having to rest everything just off my fingers and balance things off that. And here, I don't need to do that. Like, this is actually a really nicely balanced pen. But next, I wanted to look at the LTT screwdriver, and there's also sticker packs as well, like the Trust Me Bro, that's quite funny. But yeah, I'll look at the LTT screwdriver because I've seen many positive things said about this. Obviously, in terms of the packaging, it's a nice sleek box. And obviously, it's got this quote from Linus Sebastian, who's achieved amazing things. It's really impressive what he's done. I'm not just saying it for the purpose of this video. I'm really impressed with everything he's achieved with Linus Media Group. Obviously, because there was no bubble wrap, I'm going to keep banging on about it. The box itself is quite dinged and everything else. You can see, it's a bit dinged there. And this a little bit, that's not too bad, but obviously, yeah, the precision screwdriver wasn't in the box, and then this has been dinged as well. So it's not really ideal, but obviously we can just open this up, and there it is, the LTT screwdriver, perfectly balanced, and actually, yeah, that's really nice in hand, because my old screwdriver, which is looking a bit worse for wear now, and it's a little bit bent. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. It's not completely level because I've used it too much and damaged it, and I used the end as a hammer as well, but, the old, I don't find the grip on this as good, but obviously, yeah, this has a really nice grip actually. It feels a lot more compact, and it's still got all the bit storage and everything else in the bottom, which is pretty cool actually. Oh, there we are. I didn't want to pull it too hard, but yeah, that's actually quite good space for storage, and I can see that being a lot more convenient. Like with this, it's got bit storage as well, but it's actually quite hard to actually access the bits. You often need to do that to actually get anything out. So actually the design of this particular screwdriver is better in my opinion. And obviously in the box as well, you do get some bits. Obviously they do sell extra ones as well if you need extra bits, but certainly not going to place a brand new order and have that shipped all the way from abroad. But you do get some bits that you can see there. So if we actually open this up, you'll see all the bits that come with the LTT screwdriver. So lots of different ones there, all in a nice sleek black, which is really nice, and actually inserting the bits, super simple. And then, yeah, it's a screwdriver really. Obviously got the ratchet action, it says whether it's going forward or back. And then, you're just gonna have the ratchet as normal. But the ratcheting action on this is nicer than the ratcheting action on this, which, recently hasn't been as good. And then, what do you have? We'll look at this box in a minute. I keep saying about opening that box, but I'll look at that in a minute. We've also got a sticker pack, which was free as part of the order. So what do we have? We've got loads of different stickers. I'll just put this to one side a second. Bits falling out. And then we need to look at the shaft as well. Not that that's too exciting, actually. Eggshell interior paint. That was a funny thing. LTTStore.com. The actual warehouse itself. Tech tip. That's cool. Trust Me Bro guarantee. Computer. There's that. Creator Warehouse. I should know that logo, but yeah, there's that. LTT. Coming soon. Hot takes, yeah, that's awesome. So they're good stickers. To be honest, I don't tend to put stickers on anything, but I am looking at changing my laptop and I might put like the LTT sticker on it or something like that. Yeah, that's it. So that is the sticker pack, which was, you know, free as part of the order. And then I also have this extension shaft. So that is that. It's just an extension shaft, really. I can't really say much about that, but it will come in handy because there are times, oh, that clicks in really nice, actually. There are times where, you know, sometimes with like a Noctua cooler and things like that, you've got to reach quite far down. Like at the moment, what I've been doing is using this particular screwdriver. Now I won't need to do that. So that is really nice. So again, the whole thing of this order is about simplifying, you know, again, a slightly nicer pen, even though I absolutely love this pen and it's got sentimental value for me. Simplifying with a nice pen and a nice screwdriver and a nice precision driver with a fidget spinner as well if I get bored in a meeting or something like that. That is really nice. Oh, it's stopping. That was a good like 20 seconds or something. That is really impressive. Anyway, yeah, so that is that. Next up, the LTT Precision bit set with 61 pieces. Obviously, it kind of made sense to get that. I didn't just want the precision driver by itself. The actual tray here as well is magnetic, and that's part of the reason I bought it, because I'm constantly losing screws and stuff. In fact, I've got a shelf up there just with random screws on it. Now, hopefully I can start storing all of these random screws in here instead. Nope, that was an epic fail. I completely missed the box. But actually, yeah, there we are. They are there. And yes, the magnetic action is working. They're not falling out or anything like that. So that is really cool. And obviously, if you want to store extra bits, you can do that too. You've got loads of different bits here. Let's say I wanted this particular one. It's all clearly labeled as well. You can see what's in there. Just put the bits in there. And then away you go. It's a screwdriver, really. There's no ratcheting action on this, which is fine, because I think for more precision things, you might not actually need that. Ooh, actually, this is quite useful because my glasses are loose. Yeah, that is brilliant. Hang on. Can I use it for my glasses? Live demo, everyone. Live demo. Now, I can't see the camera, but hopefully I'm in focus. Let's have a look. Yes, that is really, really useful. I think I might have got the wrong bit, actually. There's an even smaller bit, but yeah, that is working. Yes, my glasses are a bit tighter. That is brilliant. Now I can put them back on so I can actually see. But there we are, live demo. You've now seen what a screwdriver is, and now my glasses are fixed as well. But that is the precision screwdriver with the fidget spinner. That's excellent. I really like that. So overall, I really like what I've purchased. I think I've covered absolutely everything. I've covered the stickers. I've covered my super long LTT Store screwdriver. I've covered this, which obviously I'll be bringing around with me quite a lot because this is going to be really, really useful around the house and everything else. Nice design. The magnetic feature is really good too. And I've got loads of different bits as well, so that's going to be really useful, whether it's for stuff around the house or fixing my glasses. If you've got any questions though, please let me know. I can't see anything down in the comments. And other than that, thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please click the thumbs up button and please subscribe to see more videos like this. Thanks for watching.